having revision groups. I know here it will depend on whether it's a student, at whichever level you're at, whether you're in a boarding school or a day school. If you're in a day school, if maybe your school provides, because during the day, you'll be going for your timetable subject or lessons. So after school, does the school provide after school club, revision on revision? You could utilize that and get to know the students who have got the best interest like you and want to do well in their assessment, in their exams, etc., or in their progress in education. So you can meet that time and in revision group and try to catch up with what maybe you did during the day, or look at an exam. Look at an exam question. Look at an exam question. Maybe during the lesson, if the teacher had given you a question, you can catch up together on that question, reminding each other the success criteria that your teacher taught you, and work out through that question. And again, during the weekend, you can organize with your parents. You can visit each other, maybe if it's around, and then you can visit each other's. But during this time, make sure you remain focused in order to achieve what you're doing, to get the best from what you're doing. For those of you who are in boarding school, you have got plenty of time. After school, you can catch up, form a revision group with the people that you know you're going to benefit, other students that you know you're going to benefit the best from. Or maybe during the evening prep time, you can organize maybe with your teachers. If it's 2 hours, you can maybe meet somewhere with your friends within the school, maybe in the school hall for half an hour, discuss. The teacher on duty will be watching and supervising you. Or during the weekends, make use of this time. And again, especially for those of you who are doing the teacher in English, get time, discuss the novel that you're doing, analyze it. Also, get a poem, analyze that poem, help each other. Group work or revision group work is very, very good. It enhances understanding. And then, after you have revised with your friends again, if you realize that there's an area that probably you need to revisit individually and revise again so that you understand better after talking with your friends, revising with your friends, the better. Also, in that revision group, as you meet together and discuss, revise, is it a question you're looking at together? You can revisit the resources that your teacher gave you and look at it again. Or if you're not sure, go back to the subject teacher as a group and tell the teacher, please revisit this area and explain it to us again. It's very important. Also, either individually or even in the group, remember to practice exam papers. You know, the past exam papers in that topic. All the marks, all the questions, depending on the marks, the questions will be at times divided into section, part A, B, C, D, different marks. Revisit that and practice how to do it. Individually, you can tell your teacher to check for you, or in a group. And I'm very sure subject teachers, when you are going through the topics, they will give you this question to practice, either individually or in group, and then mark it together. But again, it's always good to go an extra mile as a student, yourself, individual, in a group. This is what makes the difference between a student getting a grade 9, the best grade in GCSE, or an A* in A-levels, and another student getting a grade 4 or even a grade C in A-levels. So you need to do that extra mile in your revision, in your preparation for the exam. We said that you spend a lot of time in school as a student, right from being very young all the way to a teenager, adolescents, young adults at the university. You spend a lot of your time in going through school. So it's best to get the best out of it, the best results, the best outcomes. And as you put effort, I'm sure you'll get the fruits of it. You'll see the best results out of it. I remember, let me give you an example of myself. I remember when we were doing our O-levels. I was in a boarding school, as I said before. As we came close to the exam, let's say the exam, our national exams were October, November. We were doing them at the end of the year. But I remember around June, we formed a group of girls, a number of us. We were about 7. And as we went home for the August holidays, we agreed when you go home, talk to friends from other schools and get to know some of the questions, the exam questions they have been given back in their schools. And as you come back to school in September, come with them and we shall revise them in the group. And that's what we did. As we came back in September, we started revising together, looking at these questions as a group. We used to meet in the school hall. When the rest are in the classes, we would go in the school hall. There were 7 of us. Of course, our teachers knew that. The teachers who were on duty knew that. And we started revising, looking at these questions, discussing them. And apart from the questions, we started looking at the poems, the novels, discussing the novels that we were doing. And we got really good in it. And then if there was something we weren't sure about, we went back to our teachers, we asked for help. And it helped us as girls as well, individually, because once we identified I'm weak in this area, after discussing, we would go and revise individually and get better. And as I told you in another video, that when we joined A-levels, we went to different schools, but myself and one of my friends from the group that were in O-levels, we joined the same school. And because it had been very effective and we saw how well it worked, when we joined A-levels, we went and recruited 7 other girls. So we were 9 in the group. And we continued revising. This time in A-levels, we used to meet after school, just before we went for dinner. So we would, after the lessons, as we waited to go for dinner, we used to meet for 1 hour in the group, the 9 of us, and we would discuss. We started discussing questions, looking back at what we did during the day. And then we really got better. But there's something we realized. We realized that some of us were very good when it comes to revising together. We had the subject knowledge and everything. But when it comes to the assessment or end of topic assessment or end of term exams or even the mocks, we realized that some of us were not doing well in the group. They were very knowledgeable, but when it comes to the exams or assessment, some would panic or some would run out of time. So we decided we need to look at this. And therefore what we did, we decided that out of the 9, one of us each evening will be giving the rest a question to answer. So we would meet after school for around 45 minutes before dinner. Then we would go back after dinner for preps. And then the school had organized that the lower school, the girls would go to bed at 8:45. And then the rest, at the upper school, would go to the dining hall and have a cup of hot chocolate and then go back to classes and revise up to around 9:45. So what we decided in the group of 9, during this time, after we come back from the dining hall, around 9:10, we would give each other, that time before we went to bed, we would give each other a question. So one of the girls would prepare a question depending on the subject, whether it's geography, I did geography, or literature, or religious education, or general paper. And then once whoever is giving the question gave the rest of the girls, she would give us the exact time for that question. If it was a national past paper, a question from a past paper, national exams, then whoever is giving the question for that day would give the exact time that if you are sitting in a national exam, the time you'll be given. If it's half an hour, it's half an hour. So she would watch and then write the question, answer, and then exactly time to say stop, and then she would correct the papers. Then the following day would meet after school and mark those questions. And I'm telling you, that build our confidence. We were able to know how to time ourselves in answering the questions. And by the end of it, when we did our exam, the national exams, at the end of our A-levels, we all made it to university. And we passed very, very well. I'm saying some of us almost got full mark. Whatever full mark one could have got in that national exam in A-levels. So it is very important to work together. Buddy system or revision groups work very well when it comes to students helping and supporting each other. And for those of you who are in day school, weekends you can organize your parents can come together. The student get to know, as a student, get to know your best friend that you work very well with in school. And even during school holidays, maybe you can catch up once or twice. And then if one of the parent can or guardian can open the door, you go to their homes and catch up. I'm emphasizing on this because I remember when my daughter was doing her GCSE, a personally I organized, although it was not revision group or not, but I asked my daughter about her best friends, the one she works with best. This was 3 months to their national GCSE exams. And she told me, and I invited the girls to my house just for dinner to catch up. And I prepared for them all the African delicacies, food, and they really enjoyed it. And then I was just doing that to help them relax. And then I noticed one of the parents, one of the guardians from that group of girls, actually organized during the school holidays. This was now Easter holidays, April, before they did their GCSE in May. She organized it as a revision group. So they went to her home. Of course, as parents, we dropped the girls in the morning and we left them there. We picked them in the evening. And during the day, what they did, some of the girls had gone out of the country for holiday. And this mom was so proactive and she organized, and the girls who are in her house revising were able to catch up with the girls who are even outside the country through video call, and they did revision, very good revision throughout the day. And by the time I picked my daughter and the rest of the parents, guardians picked their daughters in the evening, they were very happy. My daughter told me it was very helpful. So there's that provision if your child is in day school. And there's also that provision for those students who are in boarding school. It's just looking at what will be the best in order to get the best out of it. All right.